Today I want at the outset to publicly address the issue of the Renewable Heat Incentive Scheme and our handling of it during our time in government. Now, this has been a very difficult period for our party in particular and for Northern Ireland politics as a whole. My motivation in government was always to do the right thing at the right time and for the right reasons. But the best of intentions doesn't make you immune from mistakes or misjudgments. And some of our past decisions and actions have left a lot to be desired. And I know that they have personally hurt and offended many of our members, voters and the public. The public inquiry has been difficult for many individually and painful for the party collectively. No party would want to have all of its dealings exposed for all to see at a public inquiry, especially in the unique system of government we have, with the struggles and strains required to make it work. But I make no excuses. Today, as leader of this party, I apologise. The party, we are deeply, deeply sorry for the mistakes we made and for the things we got wrong during that period. And I am determined our party will learn the lessons from the RHI and how government business was conducted at Stormont more generally. Now, there are many lessons to learn. These lessons, such as ensuring that we have the best people appointed to ministerial office and that all our representatives are clear on what is required of them. Lessons about special advisers, how we appoint special advisers, the number required and how they operate and are regulated in government. Lessons for the civil service. There is a strong case for a fundamental appraisal of the Northern Ireland Civil Service and consideration of extending the Home Civil Service to Northern Ireland. With technology, increasing complexity and the emergence of new approaches, particularly those which intersect with the private sector, greater expertise is going to be required. We also have lessons about openness and transparency. Proper records must be kept, and we must recognise that greater transparency will add value to public debate. But simply changing processes and procedures will not be enough. We must go further and ensure that we are engaged in an ongoing process of renewal and self-examination. Now, we will work hard to make amends and regain the support and trust of those who were upset by what they saw unfolding over this last number of months. And I know I also speak for many when I say that over the course of this last 12 months, there have been a number of other areas where our behaviour in our ranks has not matched the standards expected of people holding public office. So we must ensure that there is no repeat of such behaviour and that those high standards we aspire to ourselves and that others rightly require of us are applicable at every level within this party. 2 years ago, at conference, I outlined 5 simple principles that would guide us in Brexit discussions and stated that talks would be tough. Seems like a bit of an understatement now, I have to say. But in particular, I said that the economic and social benefits for Northern Ireland within the United Kingdom are far more important than our relationship with the European Union, and that we would work with whomever in order to get the best deal for Northern Ireland, at home and abroad. Now, consistently, we have indicated our objectives and our bottom line. They were simple, they were clear, and they were focused. We sought to do what was best for the United Kingdom and Northern Ireland in particular. We sought to provide the government with the room it needed to negotiate, but never to lose sight of what it needed to deliver. And most importantly, we publicly and privately indicated that we could not support proposals that would open the possibility of divergence in either customs or regulatory measures between Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Our message was clear and it was consistent. Now, Conference, I do want to acknowledge the hard work and determined efforts of the Prime Minister to secure an agreement. I believe she is genuine when she says she wants to see an outcome that does no harm to the Union and the internal market of the United Kingdom. However, this draft agreement fails her own key commitments. The Prime Minister has not been able to guarantee an outcome that eliminates the risk of the introduction of the so-called backstop arrangements. Now, on the one hand, we're told that the backstop would be the best of both worlds. And on the other hand, we're told we're not going to need the backstop. So, ladies and gentlemen, therein lies one of the many contradictions at the heart of this draft withdrawal agreement. In such circumstances, Northern Ireland alone would be aligned to numerous EU single market regulations, while Great Britain would not. Such a scenario, in the medium term, would inevitably lead to barriers to trade within the United Kingdom internal market. Let me be very clear. That is not in the national interest. Now, I know that there are many in the business community in Northern Ireland who are frustrated with the pace of negotiations and the politics around it, and who simply seek certainty. I understand their position. They have been clear that they would prefer what is currently on the table rather than a no-deal outcome. But for us, we cannot wish away the fact that the draft withdrawal agreement contains arrangements that we believe are not in Northern Ireland's long-term economic or strategic interests. Northern Ireland would remain part of the European Union's customs code, and as things stand, we would be sowing the seed of inevitable economic divergence from our largest market. In addition to the economic arguments, of course, we believe the constitutional implications of the deal cannot be ignored. The Democratic Unionist Party has never been afraid to say yes when it is right to do so, nor to say no when required. And we do not stand alone on these issues, with a large number of Conservatives, both those who would leave and remain, not persuaded. Even Jeremy Corbyn isn't buying the sea border. But this party wants to see a negotiated and orderly withdrawal from the European Union. That's always been our position. We're not campaigning for a no-deal exit, nor do we want barriers to trade between Northern Ireland and our neighbours in the Republic. The choice is not between this deal and no deal, despite what the government spin machine may say. The reality is that if we are to secure a better outcome than is currently on offer, then the only option is to look beyond the current draft withdrawal agreement and work in the time ahead for an improved outcome. We want to see the Executive and Assembly re-established on a sustainable basis. This party, the DUP, is a pro-devolution party. Since we became the largest party of unionism, the DUP has prioritised the establishment and maintenance of a working Executive and Assembly as its core political priority. This remains unchanged. I am as committed to devolution today as I was the day the institution stopped functioning, because influence in London or power in Belfast was never a binary choice. In fact, both working together is when we can achieve the most for Northern Ireland. Any successful political party wants the fullest possible range of voters and potential voters, and our broader responsibility to unionism must guide our behaviour. Supporters of the Union, and I'm looking out at you all, come in all shapes and sizes. We always need to be seeking to attract the maximum number of voters to the unionist cause. And our overarching strategic task is to sell the benefits of the union and persuade a new generation of our people that it is a union that works for them as it has for us.